Welcome everyone to Cinema Regulars, the movie review show where we see so many movies in theaters that the employees know us by name and they don't ask us what movies we're seeing, they ask us how many. Now today we have three brand new movies for you. We'll be taking a look at Cuckoo, followed up by us seeing a very early access and live Q&A event for the movie Strange Darling. We'll do our best to keep the secret secret as they asked us to, but we'll still give us our honest and thorough review nonetheless. And then we'll be rounding off with Harold and the Purple Crayon. A little nice, nice family movie at the end there. Should
Yeah,
be fun.
absolutely.
Don't forget to subscribe, you guys, so we can get to our goal of at least 500 subscribers so we can try and get these monetized. And be sure, as always, to click around. Feel free to click around in the timestamps in the description so you can skip ahead to your favorite movies and our reviews. But without further ado, let's take a look at our first film, Cuckoo. Isaac, lead us off with the description, will you please?
17-year-old Gretchen reluctantly leaves America to live with her father at a resort in the German Alps. Plagued by strange noises and bloody visions, she soon discovers a shocking secret that concerns her own family. Wow! That is way more entertaining than what the movie is.
Yeah.
That synopsis was way more entertaining than the movie was.
We're not gonna dance around the bush here. We did not like this. Not for us.
No, it was bad.
For a multitude of reasons.
Mhm.
First things first, the narrative was really poor because for a majority of the movie, it's not even focusing on like the thing. Because so what it is basically, if you don't care about spoilers, that is, what it is basically is that there's this creature that's like some kind of human hybrid, some kind of other species, and what it does is that it like implants its eggs into women, and then they did and have the monster's child instead of their own. So it's not their eggs being fertilized, it's the monster's eggs. And then the human women have to raise the monster's children as their own until the monster comes back to collect.
Kind of like a cuckoo bird, huh?
Yeah, I figured that out within like the first scene. Like literally the first 5 minutes of the movie, I figured out exactly what was going on here. It wasn't a secret anymore. And actually, believe it or not, I learned about the special thing about the cuckoo bird that that it lays its eggs in other birds' nests, and then when it hatches, it will push the real children out of the nest, and have the mother bird raise it as its own. I learned about that recently from one of the other movies that we watched this year, Long Legs, because if you didn't catch it, a lot of times Nicolas Cage's character was saying cuckoo cuckoo, and he would say that, and again, like they would bring the doll into their house and have them become part of the family before, offing the entire family.
Yeah.
So I had like just freshly watched a video talking about that aspect, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. And up until seeing this like in the theaters, like I had assumed it was called Cuckoo, as in like crazy, because you take a look at the trailers, it is bonkers. It is off the wall, doing all this jump cuts and all these strange imagery and stuff. And so I thought it was just like, oh, she has head injuries and she's going crazy. Is any of this real? Is something whatever? So I thought it was going to be more just like it meant crazy. But then like as soon as in the first scene when they mentioned something about like the youngling and like the mother, and I was like, oh, nobody talks about human children as like younglings or like the juveniles, and I'm like, that's like another creature. So so it's like a cuckoo bird. So they're not human. Someone is raising creatures that look like human,
Yeah.
and I just immediately caught on. I didn't get the details clearly, and I mean,
Yeah.
I still think we don't have the details clearly, but
Yeah. So I didn't I didn't think it was called Cuckoo. Like, I just assumed it was called it because movies are called fucking anything these days. So,
True.
like, I didn't really take much stock in the name. I did know that there was gonna be like it's gonna be about like a creature. I figured that much, and that's
Yeah.
what I went in this movie looking for. Because you know me,
Well, because
I'm a sucker for good creature design and good thought out like like they're the
all right, this
things that they do, the abilities that they have, like stuff like that.
all right,
But
in that case, what would you rate the creature 1 to 10? One being like, um, fuck, what's a shitty monster?
Limpaloon?
The fuck out of here.
Uh, no,
What
but
would you give it?
like like if we're talking like one being some D tier thing and like 10 being like a god tier SCP,
Yeah,
like this is kind of low. Like it's like a like it's I wouldn't say it's the worst, but it's definitely not great. It's like a 2 or 3. Like I will
fair
say,
enough.
like as a creature, like it is definitely dangerous. Like like its ability to disorient and like and kind of keep you in one spot while it gets closer is
It was like a cuckoo bird, but then also a siren for some reason.
yeah, it would do this thing with its throat, and like it made it like the movie made it look like it was messing with time, but they only ever said that it like was disorienting and stuff like that. So literally the
Yeah,
only thing, because like me and you got into this conversation after the movie, and I'm saying the only thing I can think of as to how that works is that like the exact thing I said was, have you ever woken up from a dream, like woken up from your sleep and then like gone about your day and then you actually woke up?
yeah.
Like
So
it's like that.
it like loops your brain so you think you're doing stuff and then sends you right back, but you're not
Yeah.
actually doing anything.
You keep you
They
keep
just made a
breaking out.
really they just made a really weird and confusing choice to depict that by doing time
Yeah.
loops. So it's like,
Yeah.
which just immediately confuses people.
Cuz it's obviously not something that can move outside of time cuz that
Yeah,
is not depicted anywhere else. It just kind of loops your brain and as it gets closer. So it's
yeah.
like it's weird, but like or the creature they are trying to depict, like it's basically a human cuckoo bird. Like its abilities and stuff make sense for what its objective is.
Mhm.
So like if they're thinking of it purely from like a creature standpoint, like evolutionarily, like it makes sense. So I can't fault it that way. It still looks dumb as shit.
It does. It looks
Like
really
especially
bad.
the main
It's
one.
just a
The
lady
only time it
who's
looks good,
bald underneath and then has red eyes and screams.
but other than that, this movie was needlessly complicated. Like the amount of the amount of back and forth you and I had after this, like
Yeah,
not
like
understanding.
as I said as we left as I said after we left to the theater, I think each of us only understood about 30% of the movie, and I don't even think it was the same 30%.
Oh yeah,
Because like
no.
we were like debating like, so it works like this and then it does that, and you're just like, no. So like if it's for this and that, and I'm like, well, I
Because
don't think that's true, because
one of
like
the
they said this and this and that and that and this and that, and you were like, no, it's because this that. I'm like, that's a really really bad sign if people are like, if
debating
people
how
watch the
what they
movie
just watched.
debating. Yeah, because like half of that movie was invisible scenes. I'm gonna be honest. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm pretty sure you could back me up on that. Like, you
Yeah.
were in there. You didn't leave. You were paying attention the whole time, and literally, like, it just goes right through you, right over your head, and
The
you're just like,
only reason why I
where was
think I
I?
caught more about the creature than you did is solely because, like I said, this like is solely because I I gave up on the plot of the movie so early, so I just focused on the
There's
creature.
there's not really a plot because and they gave up on the plot really fast because they just
I
keep
stopped.
focusing on the main character and
They really should have stopped
has
focusing
nothing
on the
to
main
do.
character and made this more about the creature.
Exactly. So
It,
and
it
since we brought her up, let's discuss the main character. I have
I'm gonna let you take
never
this because
seen
you have this. You have
I
this one.
have I have never almost never. Okay, I can think of a few examples, but this character is one of the dumbest main characters in a horror movie I've ever seen.
Yes.
I have seen dumb people in horror movies. I've seen a lot of horror movies, but this is a whole new level of stupid. So first things first, as she's running away from like the monster that's chasing after her, she runs up to a hospital, and then like bangs on the glass door. There's two glass doors, as every single hospital in existence has, two, automatic doors, one after the other. She gets inside the other one and then doesn't even like wait. She just like looks over her shoulder, turns around, and then bangs her fucking skull into the still closed second door, and then cracks the glass and cracks her skull
Yeah.
open. And I'm like, okay, I get your adrenaline's high, you're being chased, but like that's not enough to like completely like forget about the entire second door straight in front of you, or even not notice that it wasn't open yet.
Yeah.
Like
Like
I'm
that
I'm pretty
is
I'm pretty sure that's fair to say.
It's
And
like
then
the other crazy thing about that is like you just confirmed yourself that when this door is closed, unless a button is pressed, it is locked. Like you literally could
yeah,
have
she
I
pounded
would
on
have
the door
just
and they're like, "It's locked. We'll come open it for you."
they press the thing, they press the buzzer to let the door open and everything. Like me, I would have just turned around and made sure like I would have pushed the door shut. Like that would have been my first thing is like close faster so that way it's locked and I'm away from this thing. You know?
Yeah.
Like it's just weird.
So, second point, second dumb move, right? So she meets this other lady randomly at her job. They share about like two lines of dialogue with each other, and she's
Yeah.
already at a snap for no reason. I mean, she had reason, but stupid,
Hmm.
very stupid decision nonetheless. She wants to go back home. She wants to run away. So she decides to rob the place she's currently working at and then just go run off with this stranger and live on the road with them. And I'm like, you have like spoken twice and then you just made out with her once. That scene was funny.
Also,
That scene got me to laugh because she's got a fucking beak on her. Right?
yeah.
And she's like making out with this other girl, and like there's a bit where she goes in for a kiss and her nose like punctures the other girl's cheek and like comes at like a stop, and her
Yeah.
lips are nowhere near close enough, so she has to back up and reorient her nose to get access to the lips. And I'm like, she needed a second shot because her nose is too big. That's funny.
That's
Um,
really funny.
so talks to her twice, kisses her once, and then decides, yeah, I'll rob this place I'm working at and then go run off with this actual stranger to another country. Which, whether she wanted to run away or not, that is so fucking dumb.
Not
That is a
only you skipped
that
a
is a
step.
majorly dumb move.
You skipped a step. You skipped a step.
Oh, which
I'm gonna
one?
rob
Which
this
one?
place, get high with this random stranger that I met, and then proceed to
True.
run away at high speed
That's
in her
true.
car.
Exactly. and then they fucking crash, and she ends up in the hospital. Blah blah blah. And then, and then, literally, the thing that I had to like, brace my cranium for impact of stupid over how dumb this decision is. She meets up with a detective for the police, and he's on the trail to these monsters of what they're doing, right? So it's like, this, and this, and he's following the trail, and ends up, they get staking out this one cabin where the monster keeps frequenting to impregnate the people that are in there. So she's passed out on the couch, and he's with the binoculars staking out the cabin, right? And he sees movement in there, right? So he sees it. So he sneaks out, grabs his gun, and he's like sneaking towards the cabin, looks in the window, sees the monster about to do the thing, and he's got it in his scope, like he's ready to fire, and then boom, and you're like, you hear this noise, and you're like, what the fuck was that? That noise was the stupid fucking bitch who woke up from her nap and decided to just kick open the cabin door to no fanfare and for no reason. She just like kicked it open, stood in there, and then just like, and then just
while
floor-eyed
this
stared
thing
at
like
the
ran
monster.
towards her.
And it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? That's so much dumber than any other like any other horror movie where it's like the monster's chasing you and they go upstairs into the attic where there's no other escape route. It's like, why are you here? Why did you come? It's not to help. You have nothing to provide. Your arm is broken. Your head is barely in one piece. And you just kick open the door for no reason. What are you doing here?
I will say
Why?
it led to a pretty hard moment where like the detective has to come and rescue her dumbass. And like he's got his hand, like he stuffed his hand inside of a pillow, like the gun that he had inside
As
of a
like a
pillow.
as like a
Yeah.
makeshift silencer. Just
And he shoots it and it ignites all the feathers. So he shoots at it with the gun and uses the flame from the thing. Like he's holding his flaming hand out, chasing it away into the woods. Like that was kind of cool.
So yeah, I liked the detective. That was the only character I liked. I think the detective and the main bad guy of the movie, those were the only ones putting any effort into their characters.
Yes.
Like, this character, like the main character, was played so fucking lazily. Like, I don't think the actor even wanted to fucking be there. Okay, and I did mention the bad guy. You said you liked the bad guy. His acting was pretty good. I
Yes,
have something
I
to
actually
ask
liked
you.
it.
I have something to
What?
ask you, a point to bring up here.
Hmm.
So what was his goal in the movie? A
His
brief
goal?
explanation. What was he trying to do? Brief
He's trying
explanation.
to preserve this species. He's trying to help the species stay alive by effectively using his resort as a breeding program to like preserve this species is what he is doing. Like he's effectively using his entire resort as a nature preserve for this like ancient species that he keeps saying.
Right. Okay. Follow-up question. Why? What is his motivation?
German scientist gonna German?
That's not a that's not a motivation. Even fucking Alien Covenant had a fucking motivation for unleashing like this evil, destructive, murderous species. This guy had no reason to do this. There was no backstory. There was no like reveal. He had no like any like basic philosophical reason or anything, or just like there was nothing. There was nothing. He did it because he had no
Yes.
motivation to do this at all. And if he did, they did not tell us.
No, they did not.
And there wasn't even anything for you to do your famous inferring. Your famous um oh, what did you call it? What'd you call it? It's a super common word.
Imply.
I'm blanking on. No. Assumed. I don't know
Assumed,
why.
yeah.
I have no reason why I blanked on the word assumed, but like you do that a lot, and
I
I'll give
do.
credit where credit is due. Like most of the times when you do that, it's something like feasible within the movie.
Yes.
You're just like, oh, I assume that like because of this that it was this, and I'm like, they didn't say that, but at least it was something feasible. This time you have nothing to go off of. There's no reason for him to be doing any of this. He has no motivation whatsoever.
No. Uh, Sorry. I got a little sidetracked here. Cause I was just curious, cause like I said I liked this guy, and like I like the actor that they chose for him, cause I've seen him in a couple things, you know? Like he was in a movie called The Guest, and
Yeah,
he was also in Abigail, and like while Abigail wasn't a great movie, he
he
was
had the
one of the better
best
parts of
line in Abigail.
he did. But like I did not realize just how many movies I've actually seen this man in.
You went
Uh
Isaac mode mid podcast.
a small bit, because
Oh my
the amount of
god.
movies he's in that I've seen is innumerable. Like he's in Night at the Museum 2 and 3. He's in Godzilla X Kong. Totally forgot that that's him. He's the guy he's the guy that fixes Kong's tooth. Uh
Oh my
he's in
god.
Call of the Wild. He's in Colossal, the movie that I had you watched about the chick that controls the giant thing.
Yep.
He's the boyfriend that he dumps. But the biggest one that I didn't even know that this was him because I never saw a picture of him. He voiced and played the Beast in the 2017 live action remake of Beauty and the Beast.
Fascinating. You guys,
Like,
we call it
what the
Isaac
hell?
mode because he does this every single time. If we're not in a theater watching a movie, if we're watching it at one of our houses, he will see a character that he would just generally recognize, like, oh, he looks familiar. And then while we're trying to watch something together, he'll pull out his phone and then spend the next 15 minutes going through their entire IMDb history. I'm like,
Well,
my
it,
guy, we're
it,
doing something right now.
it drives me nuts not being able to think about it, and my brain needs that release.
Yeah, rather than like checking the credits at the end of the movie and then looking it up like everyone else does, you do it mid movie. And we call that Isaac mode. We go Isaac mode. I just never thought that you'd do that mid podcast. And that's probably a lie because I'm pretty sure you did it last night when we were recording the Borderlands one.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Anyway, I really didn't like a lot about this movie. I thought the execution was very, very poor.
It was.
Um,
The
I
creature was just kind of lame. Like once they explained what they were doing, and like the creature's
I mean,
motivation that they gave for like
once
taking care of her.
once they kind of explained what they were doing.
Yeah. Yeah, but like even after that, like it just kind of kept coming after her, and I was just like, whatever. It just hates her. We'll just go with that because that's easier to understand than literally anything else they were trying to explain here.
Well, no, that part made sense because like the cuckoo bird where it kicks out all the other real eggs in the nest, like the mother's trying to kill the main character because it's competition for the monster's daughter, their
I guess that
fake
makes
daughter
sense,
that they have.
but that also makes zero sense because I brought this up. It also makes zero sense because why would it matter if she's going to kill her because she's competition for resources for its own kid if it's going to steal it back itself?
Maybe. Well, weren't they rushing it though? Like, weren't they?
Well, they were trying to
I don't
get,
know.
they were trying to get her to like, because effectively what she
Again,
was at
doesn't
that
make
point
sense.
was just, yeah, effectively what she was like, they said something about like she lost her spirit or something, so like she's just effectively just a normal mute kid or something
I
like
don't know what
that.
that means.
Yeah,
Again,
I don't know. They
again,
were talking about some
they
weird
will
thing.
they will say like important like lore and like scientific
But put no emphasis
things,
on it.
explanation stuff. They will say it like once, and if you didn't catch that, oh well, never saying that word again.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Like,
actually not even relevant to the plot anymore. So if you didn't get that, that's kind of too bad.
yeah, no, that was just, it was so bad, and like, it was like so much
I
of
th-
it was
I
really. Do
think
you know what the only smart decision? You know, back to the her being stupid thing. There was
yeah
one. Count it, one singularly good decision, smart decision that she made in the whole fucking movie, and that was literally the last one we saw her make. Was like she was trying to rescue her sister, who is like this. Her sister is one of
monster.
these things. Yeah,
Yeah
like, and to in order to save her, because like the detective and the doctor guy, like the detective's trying to kill her sister and get rid of all these creatures, and the doctor guy is trying to
great.
protect it. So like what she does to get out of it is like she walks between the two of them and she puts herself in front of her sister from the detective guy, and she puts her sister in front of the doctor. So that way, like if
Yeah
either of them were to shoot, they would destroy the thing that they are trying to protect. So like
yeah.
that is the one and only good like smart decision she makes in this whole fucking movie.
Like positive
But you
thing
cut
I can
out.
say about this movie. I think the only like positives thing I can say about this movie is that I really liked the makeup effects because like when she wakes up in the hospital, like she's got like a swollen eyelid and a busted fat lip and it looks real. It's very convincing. And then
Yes.
like when she gets in a car crash, like her head's like upside down, so all of her blood is like rushing up her face, and then it gets like in her eyeball, and she's like blinking with like the blood in her eye, which is like really gross.
Plus, there's also like the part like after the accident where she has the massive gash in her
Yeah, the
head
giant gash on her
and they're
head.
like
Yeah,
stapling it shut. Like that
yeah.
was good.
All the like injuries and like physical, I don't want to say gore because it's not really gore, but like the injuries, yeah.
Yeah,
They looked really good. So props to the makeup department and,
yeah.
special
But other
effects.
than that, there isn't really much else I can say about this movie. Like it was just
Yeah, no,
it was
not
just
really me either.
generally confusing. And
Yeah.
like it had a couple moments, but nowhere near enough to make it good.
Yeah.
So
I
without ado, why don't we
like
oh, one more thing?
no, go ahead.
I was gonna say
I'll
like,
recap it on my ranking.
yeah, yeah. I think we'll just move it into the rankings. I have no problem starting this. I'm giving this a 2. This a 2 out of 10. This was not great. Like I was originally like, man, that was boring and bad. I'm gonna give it like a 4. And then I started looking at all the movies that I had ranked, and like it just kept going further and further and further down the list until it kind of hit a point where it was just like you end up here by default. Like like you're not definitely not worse than the movies that are under you, but like you're definitely not better than the movies that are above you. So
True. So I'm gonna give this a 3. Like, it, I don't know. I kind of wanted it to be good, but like,
I did.
really, it wasn't. Like, it was too confusing and like not in a good way, because like there's ones where it's like confusing, mysterious, and like it works. It doesn't work here. It doesn't work here.
No, it doesn't.
Um, the only reason that I'm giving it like this high in the first place is because like everything outside of the acting, writing, and plot was really good. Like again, makeup, special effects, sound design,
Yes.
cinematography, like from a technical point, all the technical parts of the movie were done very well. It's just like the meat and potatoes of it is really bad.
The
Like
plate
the
was
steak,
presented well,
the
but the meal was bad.
yeah, I was gonna say like the steak sucks, but the peas are all right. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, and that's not gonna save the movie. I mean, props to the peas, but I wanted the steak. You know what I mean?
Yeah. This it was just kind of a mess, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, but
Oh, um, like, and there's a lot to this movie that just goes over your head and that you don't understand. And
Mhm.
the only way to like really clarify any of it is to watch it again, but I don't want to watch it again.
Exactly, that's the thing.
So it's just I will die not knowing anything about this movie.
And I
So
will be okay with that, honestly.
yeah, I can live with myself. I'll survive. I'll survive.
Exactly. Um, yeah.
Uh,
I think that
that
about
should
wraps
wrap it
us up
up.
on Cuckoo, though.
Yeah, sure does. I think that now would be a great time to roll into our second movie, Strange Darling. So take us away, Isaac.
Nothing is what it seems when a twisted one-night stand spirals into a serial killer's vicious murder spree.
I really like that.
That's a
I
very
really, I really like that
that is a
description.
very very good description for this movie. I
so,
really really like that.
so first things first. We did get to go see this early access. It doesn't come out
Like
until
a
the
week early.
23rd. Yeah, a week and a half early. So we saw it.
Yeah,
We
it
saw it
is
on the
currently the
14th.
16th.
We saw it on the 14th. It's currently the 16th as we're recording it, and it doesn't come out until the 23rd. So we are going to try our best to do spoiler free reviews and just talk about the generals, because you really, you really got to experience it completely
Really, the
blind.
only thing we can go into detail on is like the technical stuff of this movie. Like, we'll do as broad general as we can when it comes to plot and story and things like that. But like,
Right,
I do want to gush a little about like the technical aspect of this movie because it
right.
was gorgeous. But uh,
So I think we should start with the movie itself.
yes,
And
absolutely.
from a very, very base explanation, this is what I've been saying to people. It's basically a one night stand turns into I have a shotgun.
Yeah,
So quite a scary A to B.
yeah,
But
it
it
is.
follows this woman who's being hunted by this guy
Mhm,
as he's high on cocaine and he's chasing her with a shotgun and probably some other stuff. And
mhm.
she's just desperately on the run from him, and it's the same guy that she was hooking up with like hours before. So
Yeah,
it's
it's
the interesting part is that they tell the story out of order.
they do.
Okay, so they split it up into different chapters, but the chapters aren't in order. So most of the movie's fun is you trying to put together the movie in the right order and trying to understand how did we get from here to here.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
like like it would have been like totally hammy if like in the because in the starting menu she's like running towards the screen while all the credits are rolling and then it stops and then she goes, "Yup, that's me. I bet you're wondering how I got here."
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, as far as plot, that's about all we can really say about this movie.
Mhm.
Uh, this is This movie was done very, very, very well. Cause like we it is no secret on this channel.
Well,
I'm pretty sure we brought it up in other movies that the chapter system is something that's like
not a fan. Not a fan of
not a
the
fan of.
chapter system.
Like
It didn't work.
it said that in the
It,
movie,
it-
like this is a
yeah,
thriller told in
it's a,
6 chapters, and I
and
went,
we're like, oh
fuck,
god,
this
oh
sucks. And
fuck,
then it started
because
with chapter 3, and I'm like,
and then you're
oh,
like, wait a minute,
ooh,
that's not the
yeah.
first number.
I'm like,
So
all right,
chapters,
I can get behind it,
I don't like the chapter system when it comes to movies because it
especially
didn't
when it doesn't
work
need it.
in. Exactly. It didn't because they never need it. They almost never need it. Everywhere, everything, all at once had the chapter system completely irrelevant. Didn't need it at all. Furiosa, for some reason, had the chapter system, and it didn't even need it because most of the times you don't associate any part of the movie with the chapters. And then for me, especially when I'm watching the movie, I completely forget every single time that they're doing the chapter. So when the next chapter comes along, I'm just like thrown for a loop and I'm like, oh, I forgot we were doing this. It's so irrelevant.
Exactly. But it was
But
nice
this
that they did
managed
it
to
in a
do it.
refreshing way.
Yes, and because they were doing that, because they gave you the puzzle pieces and had you put them in the right order for you, while we were talking about the movie on the ride home, and you were saying, "Oh, when blah 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 happened in chapter 4, and that connected to the blah 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 in chapter 2," I I could tell and I remembered which chapters that is just by the numbers you were
Yeah,
giving me.
exactly. Like they did it very well. They did it because the other best part about this movie is that it is not obscenely long. This movie is only an
No, not
hour
at
and a
all.
half.
Like by the time we got to um like the third chapter
The
that they
third
showed
section
you,
of
I
the
was like,
story. Yeah.
yeah, the third section of the story, chronologically, not numbered. By the time that we got to
Yeah.
the third one, I was like, damn, like we are trucking
Where's
through these.
Yeah, exactly. Like it
Like
was
we're at
done.
like 40 minutes and it's like halfway over, and I'm like, are
So
we sure?
the other thing about this movie is the acting.
Oh
The
my
acting in this
god.
movie was
Yes.
gorgeous. They
Yes.
picked such good characters. Kyle Gallner fucking nailed this. So did the girl. Not gonna lie, she did phenomenally well. And Kyle
Yeah,
Gallner was
I think the main
perfect.
actors were very good. I'm a big Kyle Gallner fan, and I'm so glad to see him in like a main role in a movie because like he was a supporting character in Smile. He was a barely existent side character in Scream 5. He was the main character in Alien Code, but actually nobody watched that. I think I'm the only one who's ever seen that movie.
Yeah, I
Uh,
have no idea what you're
so
talking about,
he
my
he
guy.
gets case in point. But he gets slept on. He's got talent. He really does, and
Oh yeah, because he was in Scream too.
I yes, he was. He was in
Yeah.
Scream.
Well, yeah, you said that, but I'm like, oh yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was Stu Macher's nephew or something. He was because
Yeah.
the thing of Scream 5 is that they were killing the killer was going after like the like descendants of the survivors or like the people involved with the first one. And so he was just some random like second nephew twice removed or some shit from Stu Macher. And
Yeah.
it was just a drunk at a bar and he got stabbed. He was like one of the first two victims of the movie, I think.
Hmm.
Um, but his role was almost irrelevant. He was literally
Yeah.
just another body for
But
the count.
definitely not in this one. Like, dude was like
No,
front fucking center. He was
his
great.
presence was commanding.
Oh, he was. It was so good. And it was kind of cool because like I don't okay, you can decide whether or not to cut this out or not. So
Yeah.
I'm going to say this way. It was really cool to see because the whole point of this is it's a one night stand, like gone wrong kind of thing, and it's
Right.
crazy how he goes from like, I mean, obviously they tell the movie out of order, but it's crazy how he goes from, kind of laughing and like joking and like all these like kind of like that kind of character to
Yeah.
like the stone faced character that he ends up being by the end of the movie. Like
Yeah.
but once things after things go like it was so well done. He was so good at it.
Yeah, I like again, big fan of him. I think he needs more he needs more spotlight time, really,
He
because
do,
I
you know
think he does
what?
a phenomenal job.
You wanna know what's another thing with this? Like, this is the second time we have seen a movie like this, like, kind of have this, like, not majorly publicized, but it put an actor who normally is a side character in the spotlight. And that was the other movie we saw this was Late Night with the Devil.
Yeah. Yeah, David Desmelchin. He is a super good actor, but he's literally always been a side character. He was a side character in the Ant-Man movies, in Last Voyage of the Demeter, in The Boogeyman. Literally everything
Even
you
in
see him in, he's just a side character.
even in the TV shows I've seen him in, because I recognize him more from I'm a big fan of the Lucas Till MacGyver show, and he plays Murdoch in that. Like he's a villain in that, and he plays it beautifully, might I add. Like he plays a really good psychopath, and like it was so nice to see him get his own spotlight role in that movie. And like
Yeah,
it's the same thing with Kyle Gallner. I'm so happy to see him because it's also nice because this is a movie that really shows range for his character as
it
well.
does. It
So
does.
that
It's
it
for
was
both
very
of
well
them.
done
I think
for both of them.
um
Yes,
sorry, I'm not as big a fan of the lead actress in the movie, so I haven't memorized her name yet, but
his name is
I
Willow,
like
I think, or something like that,
I that's completely false. I know it's not that. It could be anything else in the
or
world
it's
but that.
Willa. I think it's
They,
Willa.
regardless,
Yeah,
her
Willa
range,
Fitzgerald.
Willa Fitzgerald, she also did like a really good transformative acting, like from going to like the kind of like ooh, like seductive kind of thing, and then for like the running for her life scared and like etc. Like it was like she and him were just beautiful fucking choices.
They had great
Um,
chemistry.
they did. They did. Um,
So let's. Unless you have anything else to say about like acting characters or anything
no,
like
not
that,
on that.
I want to move into the cinematography of this movie because
That's exactly where I was just about to go.
this entire movie is shot on what was it, 35 millimeter film or 30
Yes,
millimeter
sir.
film or whatever it was. Like it was shot on film with like spools of film, which is not done
Good.
very often these days. And I mentioned this briefly. I don't know if it was cut or not from the last from when we were recording for Poltergeist, but like there's something about a movie made on film. Like there's it's you can't just shoot whatever and just do what you want because like in the Q&A afterwards of the movie there's a moment that they said something that I 100% understood, and that was like when people make movies nowadays, it seems like they just shoot a bunch of stuff and then find the movie in editing. And he says
Yeah.
when you're like their goal is to find the movie while shooting and make it better in editing is what it should be.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't want you're not supposed to send your editor piles and piles and piles of stuff to sift through and find the movie. It's here's the stuff, let's make it even better than it is right now. Like that was I perfectly understood that. That made so much sense. And they did it. They did this movie so amazingly well cuz like the colors and the things and like the amount of times that I totally forgot that they were filming on film.
Yeah, dude, like the visuals were so damn crisp, and like you said, the colors were so vibrant, and
It was.
like it had its own color palette. You don't see that a lot in movies unless
No,
it's like
like the movie
in
was very
Mexico and
much
it's all
one.
tinted yellow.
Yeah, like it's not like that. It's like the movie had its own like there
It
were
was like
certain colors that they used prominently and consistently in this movie. And
right, and
like
it
it worked
worked.
very well.
It gave it like a whole. It almost gave it its own flavor, if you know what I mean.
Oh, absolutely. And like uh just I can it's almost I can't put it into words because it was it's almost intangible. Like it's
Hmm.
a completely intangible part of the film. It is nothing that you can actually like reach out and touch. Like it is just it made the vibe of the movie so much better. Like
Right.
filming this on that is so good. There was even another moment like in the Q&A where I think it was the actress who was talking about it. She said that like there's this feeling where like when the camera's rolling that you might capture magic. You know,
Yeah.
because everything is so specifically planned. Like this is what the shot is. Like you guys are gonna do this. Like it's not. Hey, this is kind of like the rough angle. You feel it out. Like it's no. This is what we're doing. Like this is the shot, kind of thing. And and I want you to put your all into this shot. And like
Yeah.
that is they did. They really did. They gave them it really feels like they gave their like the character like the actors such specific direction. And there are so many movies nowadays where you could feel when they aren't given direction
Yeah. Well, yeah, because
properly.
like, and they said in the Q&A that like the guy who wrote this script and the director, he was so specific when it came to the script writing. Like he wrote like what kind of lenses he wanted to use into the script at that scene. He wrote what kind of songs he wanted to be playing in the background during that scene. He like wrote like the like how the
He wrote
camera
the
was going to
whole
move.
movie in the script. Like
Yeah.
the whole
Like
movie
like
was in the script. It was like a
like
script
into
that he could hand in.
incredible specifics.
Yeah. Like it's a script for more than just the actors. It's for the entire cast and crew. Like
Yeah.
it that is so cool and it does not feel like you get that level of specific and careful planning in a movie these days.
And it
And
fucking paid off.
it
Like
did. It really did. I
like the
am going to look
whole
for more
movie.
movies like by this guy. This guy did
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, if he brings this level of like intensified, like care and specificness to like everything he does, like I might become a fan. Like I don't
I'm
have a whole lot
already a
of like
fan.
directors. I don't have a lot, yeah, like I like movies. Like I don't have like directors I'm like ride or die with. Not a whole lot, that is. But like he might be one of the firsts if like all of his movies are like this quality.
Yeah. This is only the second movie he's ever directed, by the way.
Really?
Everything else that he like every single other thing he did before this was shorts. The
Huh.
only other movie that he directed outside of this was a movie called Outlaws and Angels.
At a western, we could watch that with Alex.
Yeah, wow, it's actually got some pretty big names in it. It's got
Hell yeah.
actually never mind. Actually, never mind. It really only has one, and that's Luke Wilson.
Yeah, yeah.
He's the dude from Idiocracy.
Yeah.
That's all. That's the only one I'm really seeing. But yeah, no, that's
Big name.
cool.
Big.
Okay, well, I at least recognize him.
I'm joking.
Like he might be getting pretty big though, because he has two upcoming things. Uh, one called 18 Wheels and a Dozen Roses, which is a hard ass name. And there's even one on his IMDb page that just says Untitled JT Molnar Project.
Cool. Well, we'll
So
definitely keep our eyes out for those when they
yeah,
raise their heads.
absolutely.
Um, without getting into specifics, I gotta say the the writing and just the overall story. The story itself is fantastic, but
It
like
really
the
is.
way they told it, like I really like how they told this with the with
This
the
movie
chapters
was
being out of order and in the
Mhm.
order that they were. There's definitely a reason for that, and it really works. It really
There
works.
you could feel the intention and like the actual like you can really feel how purposeful everything in this movie was.
Yeah, because
And
you could totally like when we got to the part where it said like told in 6 chapters. Here's chapter 3. I rolled my eyes because I'm thought like, oh great, so we're at like some fun fucking artsy movie trying to be overtly complicated for something that doesn't make any sense. And we're starting, and it's just like, it's told backwards through the point of view of this ant. And it's like, why? Why? There's no
yeah.
reason for that. But there is a reason. I'm so glad there was a reason for that. And it's not just some stupid artsy choice. Like, it's actually integral for the entire movie to be told this way. And it really,
Yes,
really
it
pays off.
it really really does. I loved it. This entire movie was captivating from start to finish.
Hmm.
Like there was
Well,
no point
I
during this
was a little
movie that I was
hesitant at the
bored.
start. I was a
Yeah.
little hesitant at the start, but and I was a little skeptical. But once they kicked the little snowball down the hill, I kept rolling with it.
You you
It got
like we
better and
even
better throughout the movie.
like the fact that when we were talking about it afterwards and we were talking like the fact that we're able to equate it to Memento and the
Yeah.
fact that it is like the Memento is an amazing movie that is told insanely well and that this is like up there with like the
It's up there.
storytelling
I wouldn't say
quality.
it's on par. Memento is like one of my favorite movies ever.
I know. Well,
But
I'm saying it's up there. Like it's
it's
close.
up there. It's up there with like telling stories out of order, and like it
Yeah,
that was very important for Memento, and it was very important for this movie, and they both work very, very well.
they do. This is just a phenomenal movie. The only other thing to bring up really is, at least that I could think of, is because you were talking about, you mentioned, he put like what lenses and what songs he wants to use, and
Oh yeah.
they had, well, first of all, the songs, like the soundtrack for this movie is gorgeous. Like it
Oh,
is beautiful.
it's fucking ethereal, dude.
It is, and they
Like
got
so
the
much
same
reverb.
artist to do all of it.
Yeah, she did like a whole album for the movie.
I need to find her name. I will find it. I apologize. I should have had this pulled up already before I started talking about this. I don't. I can't seem to find it in the IMDb, but I will find it eventually. I would love to be able to shout out her name,
This
but
one.
I cannot seem to find that. That is unfortunate. Here, let's do this. Mm, is this what it is? Zeeberg.
Zeeberg.
I think it was her name.
That her name or her address?
That's her.
344 South Zeeburg.
Her YouTube thing is like it's at Zberg.
Yeah.
Or like Zberg. Like, and she did phenomenally for this. Like the main song and like all the credit, like all the trailers. The song
Yeah.
Hurts was very beautifully done. And the craziest thing is that's the only song she didn't write for the movie.
Yeah.
Like every
Well, it's
single song that she
already
sings in this
existed, that
movie,
song.
yeah, Love Hurts already existed, but like uh all the other songs for the movie she did herself.
Hmm.
And that
Well,
is
I
I
mean,
love it when they do that.
yeah, because like because it's like a entire album that's it's tailor suited for the
Yes,
movie. Like these songs
and I
only
love
exist
that.
for this movie and because of this movie.
Which is what they should do. Like I don't
Yeah, and
like it when they make
I
songs like this to just throw into a movie. Like it's
yeah
designed for the movie.
yeah and, like they perfectly matched the tone of the scenes for like every single one. Like it brought proper emotion for the scene that it was paired with, and like it just goes to show, like, I mean, the guy wrote the songs into the script. Like he knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
It was all so carefully and meticulously planned out, and it really paid off.
It really, really did. And the like I think in the Q&A they said that like for months before they even put a camera to scenes, like they were hashing out the scenes.
Yeah,
They were prepping and prepping and prepping and prepping for all these scenes. And like the hand in hand with the songs, the sound design in this movie was
very good.
very, very well done. The sound they kept using throughout the movie, like whenever like it would like the movie would get like menacing, I guess I want to say. Like so like like the boom boom, like that deep booming
Yes,
sound that kept happening.
yes.
That was so good.
Mhm.
I really enjoy I like all of it. This movie was done so well. And even the cinematographer that they got for this movie was his like I think I looked it up and it was this is his first movie being like the director of the photography for it.
Yeah.
Like all the other ones he's done is like music videos, and he's an actor actually who became a cinematographer, which is something they brought up in the
The
Q&A,
only
which is
one.
really cool. Like
The
as
only
far as you
actor
know,
turned cinematographer.
yeah, because they like actors turn producers, directors, things like that.
Directors,
But very
writers.
rarely do they get behind the camera.
Cool.
That was really
All right.
cool.
Yeah. So super good movie. And I think it's well overdue that we punch this into the rankings then.
Yeah, absolutely. Me, I'm giving this movie a 9 out of 10. I really really enjoyed this movie. This movie was phenomenally well done.
Mhm. I'm also going to give this a 9 out of 10. It was very, very good. I literally can't name a single thing wrong with it. Only reason it's not a 10 is that I kind of reserve 10s for like above and beyond, completely mind blowing. But this is something that I have to own on DVD. It's gonna be added to my collection and up on my shelf. So yeah, very good, very
Yes,
very good.
very very
But
good.
I think that
See
should
this.
wrap that up, and let us move on to our last movie of the night, Harold and the Purple Crayon, based off the best-selling book from my childhood. I love the book.
From my childhood too.
We had the same childhood, numb nuts.
Well, true. We did meet. We have been friends since children. So yeah,
Exactly. Way back in the children.
yeah. Way back in the children, back in the child days. Anyway,
So take us away.
all right. Inside his book, an adventurous Harold can make anything come to life simply by drawing it. After he grows up and draws himself off of the book's pages and into the physical world, he soon learns his trusty crayon can set off more hilarious hijinks than he thought possible. However, when the power of unlimited imagination falls into the wrong hands, it will take all of his creativity to save both the real world and his own.
Fair
That
enough.
last bit, that last bit is a little misleading, but all right.
It's fine. Uh,
But no, I feel
I
like that's
mean,
a good way of doing it.
it was a kids' movie first and foremost. Let's get that out of the way. Yes, we are two grown men who went alone to go see a kids' movie, but
Yeah.
love of the game. You gotta go see stuff when it comes out.
Well,
This
yeah,
was in
and also I'm a Zachary Levi fan. I wanted to go see this ever since I
true.
found out that it was Zachary Levi in it. I like that guy.
I like Zachary Levi. Uh, his movies, mostly Shazam and Shazam 2, pretty bad, pretty bad. But
Yeah.
and
I
this
like it.
this definitely had the same like energy and like it was the same flavor of the Shazams, if you know what I mean. Like the kind of humor, the acting, the writing style, the CGI, like it felt like it was in the same vein, like it was made entirely by the same people.
Yeah. This like there was a lot of stuff in this movie that like again, it's a kids movie, so there's some stuff that didn't land, obviously, with us.
Yeah.
Like, there was still quite a couple moments that made me kind of like made me laugh. Like
Oh yeah, there were
I don't
funny bits.
I
I
don't
was
know I don't know
surprised.
what it is. I don't know what it is, but Zachary Levi acting like a kid is just kind of mesmerizing a small bit. Like he's just kind of it's just kind he just kind of sucks you in a bit, you know? Like he does the whole like the like the big old smile but nothing behind the eyes kind of thing. Like you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like he just kind of does stuff that seems fun.
Yeah.
That was kind of cool, a cool way to
And
tackle an adult version of
yeah.
like a character that has only been a child up to this point.
Yeah. And I'm not the biggest Lil Ray Howery, or however you pronounce that
Little
name.
Rel.
Lil Rel Howery, my bad. But I did watch Uncle Drew. I was one of the 4 people to watch The Mill, and I did enjoy those movies. So I mean,
The Mill is a good movie.
he can be good when he wants to be, and I think he was one of the funnier characters in this movie. Like a lot of the jokes he did paid off. Like they were pretty funny, I gotta say.
Yeah.
I let's talk about the main gripe. If they cut the porcupine out of this movie, I wouldn't have anything negative to say about it.
Real. Like actually, like it's like the porcupine was kind of an
Not a
unnecessary B plot through all the movie.
not a big fan of the porcupine. She was super unfunny. She was major cringe, unfunny. I didn't like her. Is basically the point I'm trying to get here.
Yeah, she kind of just became this unnecessary person in the movie.
Yeah. I did think the
It,
movie was sweet because like
it was
it
sweet.
did it was like Harold coming to the real world, and by real world it was like the real world because they had the guy who wrote the Harold and the Purple Crayon books. Like they were going to go find him. They were trying to find the author because
Yeah.
the narrator from the his own world disappeared, so they went to the real world to go find him. And they find out that he died, which I this movie was kind of like death was kind of one of the messages that was driving behind it, and
Yeah.
I think for a child audience, I think it handled it pretty well. Um,
That and also like there was a there was that kind of thing of like keeping imagination alive, like having
well, yeah, that was
that
another
yeah.
message, but I meant like
Oh.
about the author and like him dying and having to deal with that. Like that was handled
Mm,
very well. And then
it
at
was.
the end of the movie, when they go to the museum that his house was turned into, and they were looking through all the Harold and Purple Crayon memorabilia and stuff throughout the museum, and like it was a really sweet thing for like a thank you or love letter to the
It's,
creator of Harold and the Purple Crayon
it's
after all the
actually
years.
crazy to think about because Harold and the Purple Crayon is something that it's it's like one of those things that there's an entire generation that knows what it is, but they don't talk about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when this movie was announced, I can't imagine the amount of people that are like, "Oh, they're making a movie out of that?" Like
Yeah,
I mean,
me.
granted when it was announced, we were like, "Why?" You know? Like
Yeah,
why like who asked for this? Like this is kind of like Mars Needs Moms kind of thing.
yeah,
Like
because
it's one of those movies.
there's a difference between recognizability and popularity. Like
Yeah.
everyone on Earth knows who Waldo is, but
Yes.
he's not super popular. There's not like hundreds of thousands of Waldo stands. They're not like they
He's
haven't
just
been
kind of
coming
a
out with
thing that
new books, I'm
exists.
saying. It's
He's
just
a thing
there.
that
He's there. Everyone's
yeah.
seen the books. They know who that is. Harold and the Purple Crayon. Everyone read Harold and the Purple Crayon, but like he's got no hype to his name.
Yeah.
So hearing Harold and the Purple Crayon movie, I thought like, oh, animated. It's gonna be like a little and like I thought what would have been cool if it was like a Blue Sky movie and they handled it like the Peanuts movie where it was like
Oh yeah.
animated but it like kept the original art style. Like I thought it was gonna do something like that, and then I heard it was live action and I was like, oh, this might not
Yeah.
turn out very well. But I was pleasantly surprised. I enjoyed myself at this movie. It was
One thing I
one of the
really liked about this. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah.
Go ahead.
It was one of the more decent kids movies. That's one of my favorite things about this year is that the kids movies are actually decent.
They are.
Cuz like what was the biggest kids movie last year? Trolls 3. Oh my god, Trolls 3 and the fucking Paw Patrol movie. Like I feel so bad for any parent who had to take their kids to go see that shit. Cuz like kids movies like yeah, they don't have to take themselves so seriously, but like parents are going to be the ones who have to pay for this and
Yeah. I
sit
mean,
there the
Migration came
whole
out last
time.
year.
Yes, Migration was good. Migration was very
Yeah.
good. But like they don't
Yeah.
have to make them so egregiously terrible and annoying and eye-rollingly bad. Like we got Migration, we got Inside Out 2 was okay. Um Garfield movie,
Yeah. Garfield movie was
this
great,
like it
actually.
was yeah, like yes, like I'm so glad that like kids movies are not annoying anymore and we're moving away from
I,
that.
speaking of making movies that are fun for both, kids and adults. The theater that we were in had
Oh my
this
god.
group of people behind us where there's a character in the movie who he's like the eventual bad guy, and like a big portion of his character is that he's simping for this that's kid's mom.
He's not
That
simping for the kid.
he's not simping for the kid. We're not having a repeat of Despicable Me. We're not having a repeat of that. He's simping for the kid's mom, and
Yes.
every single time that he like said something about this woman, or like kind of hit on her in public, like
Yeah.
this group of women behind us just burst out laughing. every
I like you say
single
behind
time.
us, even though they were like peppered along the entire
The
theater.
ones that I
They were
noticed was
everywhere.
directly behind us.
There were a lot. They were all over the place. Like every time this guy said something just like kind of simpy, they were laughing
He
at him.
said the
Like
word
everything
nipples
out of
in the
his
movie.
he did say nipples, and that did get the 50-year-old Karens to laugh pretty hard.
It did. Like
God, they love that guy.
you leaned over to me and went like, "Hey, there's the part of the movie for the older white women."
Yeah. Like that's
Like
the
it
joke
was
for the moms who had to take their kids here.
yeah, exactly. Like it's like it was just kind of whatever. And what was even cooler is like you kind of didn't see him as an actual villain of the movie. Like you just kind of felt bad for him.
Yeah.
So like by the end of it, like
Well, that's why they, didn't murder him.
it was actually kind of cool because he represented another side of this where it's like because there's the mom kind of is on the side of like just can like she's constantly telling her son like can you just like not with the imaginary friend right now, like can you just
Yeah.
not. And by the way, that made me angry every single time she did that, especially after finding out that like the kid said that his dad gave him his imaginary friend,
Yeah.
like who's
That
now
was kind of
dead
not cool.
father.
What
Like
the
that is
fuck,
not
Zoe
cool.
Deschanel?
Like that
You
was
married
so
an
not
elf.
cool.
You can't deal with an imaginary friend? My God.
but
Your
like
standards.
but like her but like she's on the side of like no, like magic crayons don't exist, blah blah blah, like all this stuff. But then you
I
have
mean,
this guy on the on the
fair.
other hand who has this whole world. Like he has all this imagination. Granted, his world is shit, but he has all this imagination. But like he just like for an adult, like as an adult, he still has his world, but he
Yeah.
can't get anyone to take it seriously or do anything with it. So it's kind of he's being kind of stifled by it. What?
No similarities between him and his poorly selling book series and me and my poorly selling book series.
Yeah, your
None at
poorly
all.
selling book
It's
series is
nothing like
actually
me.
good. As far as
Yeah.
I remember, you don't say the word nipples in it at all.
No, the word nipples is not in any of my books. Thank you. I'm
Nor I don't
proud.
think
I
they
will
should.
keep it that way. I swear to you now, you will never see the word nipples in my books. Ever.
Got it. Want to plug your book real quick? Since we're
No.
talking about it. Okay, cool.
No. I
But
want them
anyway,
to sell poorly. No,
I
but
choose for them to sell poorly. But no, like it
I
is
want
kind of
them to have
interesting.
no sales. Nobody could possibly be interested in Chris and Lloyd Wants Superpowers by Kellen Jorgensen, now on Amazon, $16.99. Tell your friends. Who would even care about such a thing?
Uh, but anyway, like it was kind of the other thing that they did very well in this. One thing that they did very well in this movie was it made it so like he wasn't out of place in like his
Yeah,
character in the
no.
sense like he was out of place in the real world, obviously, but like he played the part of someone who knows nothing about the real world. Like they
Right.
didn't do it like anything else. Like the like he just kind of went with things. Like he didn't understand about consequences really, or like
Yeah, no. Like
the
there wasn't any
nuances of
like
stuff.
yeah, and there wasn't any like contradictions or anything. It's like, okay, how the fuck do you know what a cell phone is or anything like that? Like he was genuinely confused. Like they did a good job keeping both worlds separate. Like he really did
Yes.
not understand anything, and it wasn't a single time where it's like if you were, entire life in this crayon dimension, how do you even know what this is? Like, how are you? Why would you make a joke about that? Like, no, none of that. Like, they did a very good job, like
Well, yeah,
making
because like
him like a fish out of water.
yeah, like they're talking, like there are moments where they talk about like just normal things, and the fact that he like he doesn't understand that because he's lived his whole life in a world that he created.
Yeah,
So like, of course, his imagination is all he knows,
it's true.
which is really cool. And I like that. I like that the purple worked really well. Like it
It
never
did.
looked bad.
It didn't. It never looked bad, and it wasn't overused. Like,
It
you know
wasn't.
what I mean? Like the whole they didn't go overboard on the purple. Like the purple was like special. Like
It
he
was.
painted her house purple and like her tire was purple when he made it for her. It's usually the stuff that he makes and then it stays like purple forever.
Yeah.
And it's like they reserved it for that. It wasn't just like everywhere just to be there because hey, purple crayon.
But even they did it, they translated it to the real world very well as well. Because
Yeah.
like when like the dude asks, "Hey, do you sell any pumas?" And like he draws a puma, like the cat wasn't purple. Like its
Oh, the
collar was.
collarbone. Yeah.
The collar was, but it itself wasn't, which was again very well done. Like I didn't want to see a purple puma.
Yeah.
Like it's just a like or like the other thing is like the way they would fill it in because like he even makes a comment about like when he comes into the real world, he's like near, far, near, far. Like he hasn't experienced three dimensions, and
Right.
now he can expand his imagination even further because now he can draw in three dimensions,
Exactly.
which was really cool. And on that note, the drawing, like the thing they used, like whenever he would draw,
Yeah,
like
it looked pretty good. It was serviceable.
the crayon line looked really really good,
Yeah.
and like the
I
way he would make things was really cool because it's like it was parts how accurate he drew it and parts the intention of what he was drawing, like when
Yeah.
he draws
It
the
wasn't
skates.
I noticed it wasn't always like one to one. I mean, like obviously motion tracking is hard on this level, but like you can
Yeah,
there were bits where he was like moving the crayon across and the line was not following it perfectly, but like he was moving it pretty fast and like it was barely noticeable, but the lines themselves that he was drawing looked good,
they did. And
and then
like
I
yeah,
don't know, I thought it worked.
like I was saying, like it's not like he has to draw the entire three-dimensional object either. Like
Yeah.
it kind of like senses his thing. Like I was saying with with the roller skates, he just kind
Yeah,
of drew circles by his feet and then
it's
like kicked them out and they became skates.
mostly intention, yeah.
Yeah, or like when he makes the ramp, like he just did two squiggly lines parallel to each other, and it just
Yeah.
formed like a ramp thing there, and that was cool. Like it was really it was really well done that way, and I thought it did well.
All right, so I think we should pop this into the ranking real quick. What say you?
Yeah, I'm down to move into the rankings. I don't really have a whole lot more to say about it.
Um, I'm gonna put this pretty on par with the Garfield movie and call it at a six. A six, it's a step up from mid. So I mean, not something I would ever pull off the shelves and just watch on my own, but like it was not terrible. Like they could have made it like really really
I'd have a
bad
fun time seeing
and
this
then
with my
just
kids.
yeah. If my kid again, like that's my parameter for kids movies. Like if my kids begged me to take them to this and I had to pay for the tickets and sit through the whole thing, would I be pissed? If the answer is no, it's probably going to be more than a five. No, I wouldn't be
Yeah.
mad. I like there were bits that were genuinely funny. Like I laughed like, "Oh my god, okay, yeah, that's good. That's a good joke."
Yeah. I I'm also giving this movie a 6. Like I did greatly enjoy this movie. It was very well done as a kids movie. It wasn't insanely huge, but I had a fun time. Like
Yeah.
it's no cinematic masterpiece. Like even the cool parts that happened, when like his drawings started disappearing and there was like purple dust all over the place and
Yeah.
stuff like that, or like when they came back, like you see like it kind of just forms everywhere. Like it was done very well. I really enjoyed it.
Cool. All right, that should wrap that one up. Uh Next time. Isaac, do we have a list for next time yet?
I have a rough list. Let me pull it up here real fast. I
Rough
apologize.
is all we're shooting for.
Absolutely. Well, we will have Alien Romulus,
Yes.
Blink, the Channing Tatum movie Blink Twice.
Psych
We
for
will
that.
finally have The Crow, which I am
Hell
super
yeah.
stoked for. We should also have uh The Forge, maybe. That was on kind of on our list, but if we can't make that work, that's not a big deal.
Hmm.
And then the big one is a new movie with special effects by Damian Leone called Stream, with our boy David Howard
David
Thornton in
Howard
it.
Thornton. Hell yeah.
He, yeah, we know literally nothing about this movie besides the synopsis that is on that is on the Marcus website and the poster that we have seen for it, and I want to keep it that way because
We've
I
seen no
am.
trailer. I don't want to see the trailer. All I know is that Art the Clown is in it, and the guy who made the Terrifier movies has a pretty big hand in this thing. So that's
Yeah,
all I need to know, honestly. So we'll probably
absolutely.
have a lot to say about that.
I'm very excited for it. So,
It'll be
uh,
interesting to see him stretch outside of his franchise.
it will, cause like it's interesting to do that, cause it's. I mean, it is still. It seems more like a slasher. It
Well,
does
it's a
still
slasher,
seem
but
like
like
that.
outside of Terrifier, how
Yeah,
does he work, and how does David Howard Thornton work? It'll be
that
interesting to
is
see
true.
that.
It will be very
Oh,
interesting to see that.
cool. That sounds like a pretty good lineup. I'm excited to see all those. Um,
Absolutely.
Anyways, guys, be sure to subscribe because it keeps us going back to the theaters and keeps us making these videos for you. Check out our letterboxd at Cinema Kellan and Regular Isaac to keep up with our movies. And until next time, guys, that's a wrap.
Roll credits.